Hey everyone, welcome back. So another video for Saturday here. We're going to talk about, obviously, Marathon. We're going to look at the numbers for January, see how they did. We're going to also talk about Ted Cruz buying Bitcoin and how owning crypto might make you more attractive for dating. So let's get into it. But first, as always, not financial advice. For entertainment only, do your own research. Don't fall for scams. Spam posts get reported and deleted. I'm invested in the following companies and coins for full disclosure. So let's take a look at Bitcoin here really quick, where it's going, where it's doing. And it is at 41,677 right now. RSI has obviously come down on the 1 hour chart here nicely from the peaks that we had here. And price has obviously gone up or, holding steady a little bit. So that's a good sign. That's something I wanted to see before things continue going up. So I think there is a possibility we could go up even higher, but we may have to come back down a little bit on the RSI here. So we'll see how that plays out. Ethereum is also up nicely. It is up at 3,015. It is down a little bit right now, but obviously the RSI has come down on the 1 hour chart, which is really good as well. So we'll see how those two progress over the weekend. And then if anything, we'll comment on more on it on Monday. Still have one more video to do on Riot. We'll probably do that one tomorrow for their January numbers. And we'll call it done for that. I still have a couple miners that haven't reported, so when those report, those videos will be out next week sometime. All right, so let's take a look at Senator Ted Cruz. So Senator Ted Cruz discloses a Bitcoin purchase worth up to 50,000. Didn't specify exactly what, but Senator Ted Cruz bought Bitcoin during its dip last month, according to a new financial disclosure with the U.S. Senate. The Texas Republican bought between 15,001 to 50,000 of the cryptocurrency on January 25, according to disclosures. I guess they only have to provide a range in which they bought in. At the time of the acquisition, Bitcoin was trading around 36,000 to 37,000 during the sell-off. And we can find some more information here as well. So Cruz has been aligning himself with Bitcoin in recent months, coming as Texas emerges as a Bitcoin mining hub. We do obviously have a lot of the miners going there, Marathon, Riot, CleanSpark, Core. So a lot of miners are obviously going to Texas for that. So this is kind of a play by him to kind of align himself with the Bitcoin mining industry a little bit, it seems like. He spoke out in August against provisions in the bipartisan Senate bill that would have included a new tax rules for crypto trading firms and brokers. In November, Cruz proposed a resolution that would allow food vendors and other merchants serving Congress to accept cryptocurrency as payment. So obviously he's looking like a Bitcoin bull, or at least a proponent of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. So this is obviously good news. This is something that we want to see. We want to see further adoption. We want to see people understanding the principles behind Bitcoin and how it functions and how it can help society in general. And then the next story here really quick we're going to cover is how owning cryptocurrencies might make you more desirable on the dating scene, study finds. So I thought this was kind of interesting to take a look at. So in the wake of the pandemic, singles are looking for a partner in good financial standing. So obviously we have Valentine's Day coming up here. So that doesn't just mean having money in the bank. These days, it's your investment in digital currencies that can set you apart. So for the fellas out there that are looking for a mate, make sure you have some crypto in your wallet. So with Valentine's Day approaching, single men and women are setting their sights on a partner who is not just financially stable, but savvy, especially when it comes to digital currencies. To that point, 33% of Americans that said they would be more likely to go on a date with someone who mentioned crypto assets in their online dating profile. Further, nearly 3 in 4 would be more interested in a second date with a person who paid the bill in Bitcoin. According to a recent survey by eToro, a social investing platform, the number of merchants accepting crypto as payments is near 100 million, according to Visa's recent earnings call. So obviously good news there. Cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular surged into the mainstream in 2021. Now 16% of Americans said that they personally have invested in, traded, or used cryptocurrencies, according to a survey by the Pew Research Center. For adults, the ages of 18 to 29, that number jumps to 31%. Pew found men are also about twice as likely as women to say they ever used a cryptocurrency, 22% compared to 10%. So interesting little story here. And then still many experts say the currency has lots of room to grow this year, which makes it a worthwhile investment regardless of whether it gets you a date or not. True to that. All right, so let's take a look at Marathon numbers here. There was also another story that was about sex workers, legal sex workers, that I didn't provide in here because I didn't want to get flagged for inappropriate content or something like that. So that is on my Twitter page. You can find it there. The link to it is a rather interesting article how these people can't get paid for their services for, online performances and things like that, because they're seen as sex workers, and you got the trafficking things going on. So take a look at that. It's worth a read. Long article, but it's very interesting to read nonetheless. All right, so here we got Marathon Digital Holdings announces Bitcoin production and mining operation updates for January 2022. Here is their graph where they're supposed to be, how they did. The graph is getting smaller, so it's kind of hard to see. They actually mined a little bit less Bitcoin this month than they did prior. So let's get into the main details here. Corporate highlights as of February 1, 2022. So they produced 462.1 self-mined Bitcoin during January 2022, an increase of 816% from 50.4 self-mined Bitcoin in January of 2021. So a huge increase, obviously, year over year. They increased total Bitcoin holdings to approximately 8,595 BTC with a fair market value of approximately 330 million. That is huge. Cash on hand was approximately 189.1 million, and total liquidity defined as cash and Bitcoin holdings was approximately 519, so $500 million. A lot of cash on hand. Received approximately 21,000 top-tier AC miners from Bitmain during the month of January. Existing mining fleet consists of 32,710 active miners producing approximately 3.6 exahash. So look at my numbers here in the spreadsheet that I have, and I got it. I had to do some homework on this and do some math on it to get it to line up with what they're providing. It looks like they got rid of a lot of the miners that were back in 2020. Those were probably the least efficient ones. So I think they got rid of those. Now all my numbers should match up with what they're reporting here. So that is good. And let's see here. Deployments of miners into containers and new facilities are underway and expected to accelerate during the first quarter and throughout the rest of 2022. So that is also good news. There was something else here. So miner installation and hash rate growth. As of February 1st, Bitmain has delivered approximately 93,000 top-tier Bitcoin miners to Marathon. 32,710 of these miners have been successfully deployed, and as a result, the company's hash rate of February was approximately 3.6. So I got that to match up. Obviously, having 93,000 miners, that's a lot. So they still have basically 60,290 that need to get installed. That is a lot of miners. It's going to take them a while to get those installed, and hopefully they can crank those out and get them inputted here relatively quickly. That is it for the news release here that I wanted to cover. And let's take a look at the numbers here that I have for them. So here are the numbers. So now everything matches up. They said that they're going to have 199,000. Basically, at the end, they're all installed. Basically, going to be 199,000 miners. So I have that marked. They're going to be at 23.3 exahash, which is planned. I have that down as well. And I took out a lot of the miners here that were in 2020. So those are gone now. And then these miners here, in order for the numbers to work out, what they have installed, 32,710. To get them to 3.6 exahash. These are all pretty much 110 terahash miners, and then we have some 100,000 terahash miners. There might be a mix of both here, but in order for the numbers to work out, that's what I had to basically put those miners in at to coincide with the same numbers that they have for they reported. We also see that January Bitcoin mining was down. It was 22 less Bitcoins mined in January than in December. And that was a negative 4.62% on that. Trying to figure out why that was. I think maybe they were shut down a little bit, maybe for some cold weather or whatever the reason might be. Didn't find any info on that as far as why. So I do have them at 31 days, and then obviously I think these here should be 20 days. I think those were getting installed this month. The other ones we're going to put down at 29 days, just in case they were shut down for a couple of days due to weather, possibly. We've heard from Riot, obviously, that they were shutting down for a little bit because of cold weather. So if we mark those at 29 days, I think we'll be a little bit more accurate on the numbers. And as you can see here, as I've said in the other videos, I've made basically each month have its own number of days that are corresponding with that month. And that way we can get more accurate data going forward. Like I've said, I want to be within 1% off, 1% up or down on my numbers compared to what they actually report on the mining. So this is the best way I can do that to make the numbers be as accurate as possible. If I'm within 2.5%, I'll be really happy, but my goal is to be within 1% of their numbers. So we'll see how close I get on that. What else can I show you guys here? Let's see here. All right, let's take a look at the numbers up top here. So we do have them at 8,595 Bitcoins, 356 basically million right now, and we're using the February Bitcoin numbers, which is 41,500 that I'm using. Their HODL market cap is 14.78%, so their value of BTC HODL compared to market cap is basically 14.78%, and $3.48 of share price is their HODL value basically in it right now. And then if we look at their HODL analysis, so if we take away their market cap or market cap minus HODL, we end up with basically $2 billion. Their ASIC value, make sure I'm calculating this correctly. Yeah, so their current number of miners times 7,000, which I'm kind of estimating the value, the fair market value on the miners being used if they were to sell them right now. Or I know they're probably around $10,000 brand new, but used, I'm guessing around 7,000. So that gives us 228 million right now on those, and that doesn't include obviously all the other miners that are going to be getting installed. So that remaining is 1.8 billion. So that gives us a price to earnings with future earnings of 7.2 based on the 251 million right now that I have them for this year. If everything stays the same, Bitcoin price stays the same, hash rate stays the same, number of miners stays the same, everything stays the same. This is where I would be. So we're getting a price to earnings basically multiple of 7.25. But we know that they are getting a lot higher multiple of that, and at using a 20 multiple to this gross revenue, using a 75% net of that, we would be at 36.82 on the stock price. Obviously, the stock price right now is at 23.51, so it is undervalued. It's been overvalued for a long time, but as Bitcoin obviously corrected and the miners corrected, they came back down to being, kind of undervalued here. And on this chart here, we're using the last 3 quarter numbers, which we still don't have the final numbers for the quarter that ended December. So we'll see how that close we are to that number. So on the 4th quarter here, I have them about 59.2 million right now. So we'll see if that plays out. So we're taking the last quarter number, right? 59 point. Why do I have? Oh, that's weird. I'll have to look into that, why that is showing up on monthly stats. I'm using that number here. So this is the new quarter with the last 3 quarters, which is these quarters here, combination of those. We're getting a combined total of 197 million, possibly for the past 4 quarters, including this quarter, if it materializes the way it's looking like it might, which I think is going to be actually higher because they are getting a lot of miners installed. So, and Bitcoin looks like it's going to go up in price, which is obviously going to increase that as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that reaches maybe 215, 220 million for the combined 4 quarters. But looking at 50% on that, net income from gross revenue and a price to earnings multiple, we're using 16 here. If we use a 20, we would be at 1920. And then 75% net income from gross revenue, we would be at 2880. So obviously, price of the stock is 23.51 right now. It is undervalued in my opinion. It should be higher from there. And they are only 15% right now fully installed compared to where they're going to be. They are at 3.6. Their future hash rate is going to be 23.3 exahash. Huge growth, obviously, a lot of upside potential. So I wouldn't be surprised if the stock goes up to $100 or something like that towards the end of the year, as long as Bitcoin does pretty well or at least holds steady at this rate. So I've covered this as far as what my prediction is in the prediction video that I did a couple weeks back. You guys can take a look at that as well if you're interested in that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to show you guys here. I think everything else is pretty set. And then obviously the dollar amount per petahash. So we're taking the hash rate that we have here, dividing it by or earnings divided by the hash rate. And we have them at 5,210 based on that. So not too bad. I think some of the other guys are a little bit higher than this, but obviously doing good on that. And I'm going to kind of see how that plays out going forward. And once everybody else has reported their January numbers, we'll take a look at the comparison between all the miners here and how they are set at dollars per petahash on that. Okay, I think that's it. A lot of numbers, as always. This data, the spreadsheet is available to Patreon members if you want to get access to it, so it's there. And And I do also obviously communicate with you guys there if you guys have any questions on that way. I also started on YouTube here where you can become a member or join. Basically, I think it's the join button for like $2.99 a month if you wanted to do that. And I'll probably do some videos for members that join on there. Once we get a couple members on there, we'll start doing some maybe weekly videos, live streams or something like that where we can interact and have Q&A. So that is it. Okay, I'm rambling on here. Got a lot of stuff in my head. But that's it. So have a great weekend, guys. I appreciate you guys watching so very much. Have a great weekend, like I said. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and notification bell helps me out tremendously. And that's it. Have a great one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.